Hello, people, it's Cole. This week I thought it would be fun to sort of bring you along on some thrifting. My partner DJ and I thrift a lot. He goes thrifting regularly for his online vintage store, which is called TOUGHBLUSH, which is on Etsy. And I go thrifting for books, which I collect for this channel and for my Instagram and my Tumblr. And I also, both of us, of course, look for things for our own home and for clothes and stuff like that. So we love thrifting. Chicago is a wonderful city to thrift in. We have a lot of options here. So for this video idea, we thought it would be fun to go to two thrift stores we had never been to before. We wanted to try some new stuff, kind of closer to our current neighborhood in Lakeview. I guess I'll start by talking about like what we look for in a thrift store. To us, thrifting is going to a thrift store where like everything is very cheap and very messy and kind of like all over the place, you know, unsorted sort of raw stuff that just gets like donated to that store location or to some hub and kind of like randomly divided between locations. We love the dig. We love to, you know, get down and dirty through all the nasty shit and find like hidden treasures. That's where you tend to find the most unusual things at the best price because they're really unfiltered, unsorted, curated, you know. So to get started, we do have a bag. We had a bag of things to donate. We had a big garbage bag of clothes mostly, and then also two DVDs that they were funny, so I thought I'd show you. One of them is She's the Man with Amanda Bynes, which we bought confusing it with The Hot Chick. They sort of feel similar. They're not obviously the same movie at all, and She's the Man is not a good movie, so we didn't want that. After we watched it, we knew we would never want to see it again. The other DVD was called Trick, and that's from 1999, and it has Tori Spelling in it. It's like a gay love story, sort of, but like, we don't want to watch that ever again, so we're also donating that too. Store number one was the Salvation Army in the Uptown neighborhood. So we had never been to this one before. We won't go again. It was, well, first I'll tell you about the donation part, which was good. Not every thrift store, of course, accepts donations, so we called ahead to make sure we weren't going to bring this big-ass bag of dumb crap and have to carry it around the store. So the donations for this Salvation Army location were located in the rear of the store, and so to like walk back behind it, there was like big like semi-trucks parked there, and they had these red like Salvation Army like shopping carts just like parked back there with a sign on them to like put your donations in it. I couldn't help but be a little nosy and take a look at the stuff that was dropped in those carts as donations from other people that day. There was like a styrofoam cooler that had wrapped glassware in it, and there was like a Samsung computer monitor and like stuffed animals and stuff. It was dumb stuff that I didn't care about, but the donation area was attended, so there was like a guy there to take the donations, and also we wanted a receipt for the donation, so like DJ can use that as like a tax thing for his business. We were able to do that, filled out the receipt thing, and I got a copy of that because there was someone right there. Easy to do. Anyway, so the store itself, yuck. It was okay, but like it was really small and really, it was like simultaneously overcrowded and overstuffed, but also like understocked and like didn't have anything. I don't know how to explain it. What we really look for when we go to a thrift store is vintage stuff. We want to get vintage stuff, and vintage meaning like, you know, we're not that picky. Like we like things that are from like the early 2000s back. so it doesn't have to be like super vintage. But this store mostly had new stuff, which we don't want. There was no fitting rooms, which is pretty normal these days. Most thrift stores don't have fitting rooms anymore because of like, they say because of like a COVID safety thing, but I think it's just because probably they just don't want to maintain them. They got an opportunity to not have to maintain them anymore, and they just stuck with it. No fitting rooms, also no bathroom, which was a problem because then we had to go to the grocery store to go to the bathroom, like next door. The people who were shopping there were mostly like older, like local people for that neighborhood. There was not like thrifting tourists like us, like younger people who would like be looking for the types of stuff that we would be looking for. The prices were pretty standard for a thrift store. They do have sales on like a rotating tag colors. So it was like purple and yellow. It was like one was 50% off, one was 25% off. So the one thing that DJ bought, he did end up getting for like half off, which made it be really cheap, which was nice. There were like computers were down or something, so they were only accepting cash. So there was a huge line because it was taking a long time to check out. Just like the whole thing was such a pain. Oh, the the book report for me, my books. I did look through the book collection there. It was not great. It was just along one wall there were some shelves with books that were just like I don't know, novels and stuff. I don't want that. Obviously, I'm looking for like magazines. I'm looking for vintage books with great illustrations in them. This didn't really have anything I would want. So notable finds for this location, for this day, were there was a rack of clothes that were only sequined clothes. They were like together, but there was only like 4 things. So they had like a whole sequined section that was very spare, which was funny to me. Also in that same area, which was like the weird textiles area, I did find like a kind of cool pillowcase, like a geometric kind of 80s graphic design-y pillowcase. I thought I might be able to use it as a background for filming, but it was like not vibrant enough. It's just gonna make everything look dull and muddy, so no. There was a really cool like peach colored like record player. It was leather, like it was like a leather suitcase that was peach, and then you open it up and it like was a record player, but it was sold as like as is, which usually means that something is wrong with it, like it's broken possibly, or doesn't work, or there was no way to test it because there was no records. Well, that's not true. There was like a very small number of records, including this really whack, like crazy Anne Murray record with like weird angels on the cover. Oh, there was a porcelain doll, like a big, like the Nancy Reagan doll, like a big porcelain doll in a box. She was named Christina. It was a child doll, and it had like a weird, like fake handwritten letter inside that was talking about her and like her friend Jill, and I don't know. It was written with like blue scripty fake handwriting. So the store number 2, the second and final store that we went to when we were out, was a Village Discount Outlet in Andersonville. This village was in like a big like brick building, like an old warehouse type of a space, that was across the street from a huge graveyard, which was funny. I don't know. I made for an unexpected surprise when we got there and pulled up into the graveyard. Village Discount Outlet is, I don't know if it's like, I know definitely it's a Chicago chain of thrift stores. I don't know if it's regional beyond Illinois, but it's the type of thrift store that we usually like to go for, have a lot of luck at, because it's really messy, really nasty, like overstuffed, stuff falling on the ground, broken stuff, like junk that is not even like no one would ever buy for sale. They're like a empty fucking spaghetti sauce jar and stuff, like priced for sale. Just like very strange decision making We didn't have anything to drop off because we had already dropped off our bag at the lackluster Salvation Army, but the drop-off situation at this village was like the donations section was just like a big kind of wheeled bin right inside the front door, so you could just drop your shit in there if you wanted to. It was unmanned compared to the one at Salvation Army that had someone stationed there. This one didn't, so if you needed a receipt for your donation or whatever, you would have to find somebody in the store to give that to you, which is not a big deal. At least they had a donation place. The store was a little hard to navigate because it was so big, but it was really like long. It was big in a long way, so that's fine, but they also had tall aisles running all the way from the front to the back. So you couldn't really see, like when you're walking down these aisles, they only had like one break in the middle. So you couldn't really see where you were going. You couldn't see where the other sections were in the store. It was just like super long aisles of all clothes, and then everything else was in the very back of the store, which, we were mostly looking for those other things. So the ratio of clothes to other, home goods and things like that was not equal. There was way more clothes. Village also does this thing where they have like I don't know what their value system is. I don't know like how they identify these things, but some things are sort of earmarked as being like special and have to be like kept away from public access. So there's like stuff behind the front counter. There's a whole like jewelry kind of store glass counter that has jewelry in it. But then back there's a bunch of shelves that have stuff on them that Village thinks is fancy stuff that people can't just like touch. So we did kind of look around there. You have to ask someone to hand you whatever you want to see. There was like a really big, weird, like egg-shaped vase that was there that DJ wanted to look at. Very like kind of odd and graphic, like abstract design on it. Super overpriced, way too expensive, so we weren't gonna get that. And there was also a stack of vintage Barney lunchboxes that I noticed. It was funny. But yes, so in general, the store had a good mix of new things and vintage things with a fair amount of vintage stuff from a variety of decades, which was great. There was no fitting rooms, which again is pretty normal. Definitely normal for Village. I don't think Village ever has fitting rooms. They do have a nasty bathroom most of the time in most of their stores, and this one did have a nasty bathroom. I didn't go in there, but I'm sure that if I did, it would have been, it'll do in a pinch, but like usually it's a one-person bathroom, so people really go wild in there. The pricing at this Village was really all over the place. There was like some really low pricing that were kind of what we would hope to see, or usually what we would see at a thrift store. Some stuff was just like way overpriced, like insanely overpriced for no reason. Like there was like jackets hanging up. It was like a fake Chanel sweater, I remember, that was like $200 or something. It wasn't even like Chanel branded. It was some other brand, but it's like, no one's gonna spend $200 on this sweater hanging on the wall in a thrift store. That would never happen. But Village runs sales. They do colored tags. The tags are all different, or like 6 different colors. So they do like 3 at a time or half off, which is it's a really good sale because a lot of stuff ends up falling within those 3 tag colors. And then I think every Sunday or on holidays or something, they do other stuff too. That's like everything is half off sometimes, which is fucking crazy. You don't want to go there on that day because the lines are so long and everyone's like hoarding stuff in carts. The book report, they had a lot of books, which I loved. They had 2 big, long kind of shelves of books, multi-tiered shelves, where you could access from either side that had a lot of stuff on them. They're always really like super sloppy, falling on the ground, laying everywhere. That's to be expected. That's how it usually goes, and that's fine. They did have some magazines, which I love when thrift stores have magazines. A lot of times they don't have them at all, but Village has magazines in the book section. They're usually on the bottom shelf, and they're just like piled up and falling all over the place and like mixed in with children's books and things that are, the size of a magazine, like old fucking calendars from like 2018 and stuff that stuff no one would ever buy. The crowd at this village was definitely skewed, young and skewed, trendy, like thrifter type people, thrift store tourist people, people who were there to buy clothes, buy unusual clothes and, weird stuff and be quirky. So if you're into people watching, that's a good place for it. There was people with cool style, people with like interesting, edgy hair. All right, notable finds at this location. There were some pretty good paintings, like painted paintings, like a painting, not like a artist made, but sort of like a factory produced painted painting. And so there was one that was like of a vase and a fan. We have one in our kitchen that's very similar to that one, which we love that painting. It was way overpriced, so we didn't get that. Oh, and there was this like long, like hand illustrated. It's like something you would get done at like, I don't know, Disney World or something, or like in the Bahamas. It was a big long like illustrated name. It said Margaret, and the letters were made out of like illustrations of like bugs and birds and like fish and stuff. You might recognize this type of thing. It was pretty cool. I liked it. My name is not Margaret, so it wasn't very applicable to me, but it was cute. It was a funny find. There was a lot of records here. A lot of records, like the smaller ones, tons of them stacked up on like pegs, just like they weren't even in cases. Also, they really went vertical in this store just to like fit in so much stuff. The shoes were displayed fucking nutso. I'd never seen shoes displayed like this in any thrift store ever. They were hung up in pairs, these like dangling shoes that fully lined all of the long aisles. I mean, it was a good idea for displaying shoes, but it just was like you would have to fully take them down to even see what size they were. Village is wild though. They're always trying stuff. The other thing that this store is good for, and it's weird because this really does matter. It seems like it shouldn't matter, but it totally matters. Okay. Other village locations do this too, where they play like this, like they play like gay music. Now I can't play the actual audio because of copyright issues, but just trust me when I tell you that here, Shakira's Hips Don't Lie was playing, and here, Ashley Tisdale's cover of Kiss the Girl from The Little Mermaid was playing, which is such a bop. Like, whoever's picking the music is like, they know who's shopping there and they know what they want to hear. So we used to live really close to a village years ago, and they always played Shania Twain. They always played like the Shania Twain like catalog of songs. It was so funny that it was so consistent, and I loved it. I mean, it was great. It matters. Like, if you're gonna spend a lot of time there and you want to have fun and you want to feel like upbeat and you want to feel like I'm into this vibe, I'm like enjoying myself, having good music playing really makes a difference. DJ was stressed out by the store, and he said he wouldn't go back, but I would go back. I thought it was pretty good. He ended up getting a lot of stuff. I got a jacket. He has a hard time with stores where you're like get like locked into a dead end, or like the aisles are too narrow and you can't fit a cart easily into different sections. And that definitely was the case in this store. It was hard to maneuver a cart through some areas, for sure. Well, okay, so I'll cut to me and DJ. Right after we got back from our thrifting adventure, we did film, a little haul to show you what we got, and we talked a little bit about our experience that day. So I'll cut to that so you can, hear us talk about it and see what we got, and we'll sign off from there. So over to you guys. Well, so we've just got back from the thrift store.
Two thrift stores,
and we're, it's Saturday. We just rolled out of bed and did this, which is why we just look very cozy and not made up. And we'll show you what we got, or should we talk about them? We want to have DJ's opinions on them because he's a thrifting expert.
So as I'm developing, my Etsy store is developed, but as I'm getting stuff for my Etsy store, we're exploring new thrift stores around Chicago and kind of creating like a master list of good thrift stores for good finds, at least for my shop and my style. So the stuff we got today mainly is for my shop to be sold.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what you got. So the things that DJ gets for his online store are, the criteria is things that we would have in our own home.
So we have this kind of circa 2000s tissue box cover. I love tissue box covers, and I sell a lot of them on my store. It's this beautiful teal color.
I tried on a couple of things. I did end up getting this red members only jacket, which is really cute, and it was not expensive at all. $6.70. This was not an on sale color for the day, so I paid full price. But I think this jacket's okay.
I want to try it on too.
Do you want to try it on right now?
No, I'll try it on later.
It kind of smells like, I don't know what, something, perfume.
Well, it's from the thrift store.
Yeah, but I was pretty happy with this. I don't find clothes very often, so.
It is really cute. And then I got from my store this lidded kind of container from EverArt, very vintage sticker, and I haven't looked in it yet. So this opens up. It's ceramic, and
it's cool.
Yeah.
I really like this a lot.
Potentially could be missing something there, but still very fun. And I got this cute little dish, and it seems like handmade and hand painted.
It's signed
by somebody.
Isn't that so cute?
Yeah,
I love that.
I don't know what it says, but it's very cute.
Great colors.
Could be a good soap dish, a little ring dish by a bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very beautiful. Little special find. And then got this big ginger jar, dirty ass lamp. These are bent forward or open.
Why are they like that?
I don't know. And so I'll have to use pliers and like squeeze these back. But really big, beautiful color lamp, brass bottom, little old like.
Oh, it has a vintage sticker on the bottom.
Yeah, it used to be $30 back in whatever the day was. Montgomery
Ward. Compare our price. Does it have it? That is so cute.
Yeah, so I'll probably leave this sticker on there just because it's cute when I sell it. I'll clean it up and list it on my shop, and that's everything we got from the 2 thrift stores that we went to today.
Yeah.
Ew.
He just got a piece of tape on his leg. Ew. And let me know if you guys like this, if you're interested in us doing more thrift store reviews. It was very fun for me to kind of go through and really think more critically and specifically about the different stores and my experiences there.
Yeah, this is one of our hobbies, regardless of my store or not. We go to thrift stores on the weekend. It's something we're doing anyway, and so it's easy to document it and update it and figure out what the best ones are. So if this is something people like, it's be fun to keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, DJ, for joining us today.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. That was easy.
Yeah.